Round 2 of the Senior PGA Championship. It was a record breaker. Rochester turned out in droves as 140 plus of the best senior players in the world chase the magical Bourne Trophy, hoping to end up hoisting that thing on Sunday. As for today, round 2, it could not have been a more glorious day to be on a golf course. Welcome to Senior PGA tonight. We take no breaks. We have no limits. We're going to talk about round 2 of the Senior PGA Championship until we feel like stopping. But first, we're going to start with round 3 for a very important reason. The PGA of America announced early this morning that tee times for round number 3 would be moved up early. Tomorrow, the players will begin play at 7 a.m. The leaders will start a little after 9. 9:12 is an approximate time. They've got to see how many guys make the cut before the final tee times are ready. If there are no delays, and that is a big if, the golf would be done around 2 p.m., but the way it sounds tomorrow, I would not be surprised if the day ends up going much longer than that. The reason, that's the weather forecast for tomorrow. A lot of rain in the forecast tomorrow, and it's a rain that, although it may not be a nasty storm with lots of lightning, it's a rain that just won't go away. It won't be a continuous rain, so I think the PGA of America officials are very optimistic that they will get this round in, but they want to make sure to have every chance to do it, so that's why the tee times will begin early. Championship Director Brian Carnes addressed the weather issue earlier today, and he said that starting early tomorrow is the best way to keep this championship on track.
The most critical thing is the championship and getting the play in, and starting tomorrow at 7 o'clock, threesomes off both tees, allows us to hopefully get all the golf in tomorrow. And what that does is it sets us up really well for Sunday to get back in a routine of having everybody start off of number 1 and twosomes and have that great sort of Sunday finish.
All right, let's start talking about round number 2. The leaders after round 2, and yes, there are 2. One name sounds very familiar. Paul Broadhurst trying to go back-to-back in this event. He came on late and finished at 3 under par along with Esteban Toledo. Let's hear from the 2 guys who are in charge through 36 holes.
I don't like to see the leaderboard. It makes me nervous, but you know, it's halfway, so a lot of things can happen the next 2 days, and I just got to go up there and do whatever I got to do. Get the ball in the fairway, get the ball on the green, put them in the right place, and we'll see what happens on the Saturday, Sunday.
To be bogey-free around this course is, yeah, absolutely delighted. You know, I said all along that par would be a good score, and people kept saying, no, it'll be better than that. But I mean, we were lucky. Our half the draws had it really easy. The course is never going to play that easy again, and 3 unders leading. So, you know, if we get any sort of win, level par will be, you know, a real good total to post.
So Toledo and Broadhurst have the lead at 3 under par, 2 shots behind Scott Perrell, your round 1 leader, along with Retief Goosen. And he is not the only big name at the top of the leaderboard. Jerry Kelly, even par, very much in it. Scott McCarron, remember, he's won 2 of the last 4 senior events. Paul Lowry, both of those guys very much in contention as round 3 dawns tomorrow. Now, it was not to be for Jeff Sluman this week. The Rochester native opened his round today with a double bogey. He was 8 over through 8 holes and ended up having really no chance to make the cut. However, when he reached the 18th hole, he was greeted with a very warm reception from a very solid crowd here today. Remember, this is the last time that he will play Oak Hill as a competitor. He's played this course 1,000 times. A pretty approach at 18 led to a tap-in par. He concluded a 10 over par 80 this morning. Sluman certainly ended up with the worst of the weather draw, too. We'll get to that in a little bit. But he did not use that as an excuse. There was a heck of a crowd to finish, and he appreciated that ovation.
It was great, you know, and I didn't want to be limping up making a 7 or anything like that, so it was nice to have a little tap-in 4, and the stands were full, and you look down the fairway, and both sides of the fairway are packed. That's a Rochester loves their golf, and they always have shown it here. I turned pro in 80. I think 80 was the theme today, so you know, it's not going to take away from 39 years of professional golf, but you certainly I would have liked to have played a little better and played through the weekend. For the last 39 years, it's been full go on the accelerator and go, and it's been wonderful, and wonderful life and career. But you know, maybe it's time to just throttle back a little and be be a 50-60% player out here on the tour and enjoy the rest of my life, which is pretty good.
Sluman is not the only Western New Yorker who missed the cut this week. Joey Sindelar failed to make the cut. He finished at 13 over par. Sindelar admitted he's been competing against Sluman since the two were 13, and he said that his last trip around Oak Hill did leave him just a bit misty.
This is the place for, it is anyway, whether you're from around here or not. This is an awesome, awesome place, and it was fun to be a part of it. I think the year they opened in the late 80s, I think I had a really good first round, and that was a thrill. And it's a fabulous first-class place with great history, and yeah, the memories are really cool. It's pretty eye-watering stuff for us.
Now, we mentioned how the weather has been a factor in this championship. Prescott Rossi joins me now. We looked at the leaderboard a little while ago, and there were only 3 of the top 30 who were guys who played afternoon tee times on Thursday, morning tee times today on Friday. It's unbelievable the difference between the two sides of the draw. You've got more on that.
Yeah, in fact, there was only 1 member of the top 10 that played in the afternoon yesterday. The rainstorm that wiped out about an hour and a half, 2 hours yesterday, was followed up by incredible wind. And that wind was a headache for anyone with an afternoon tee time. Those same golfers yesterday afternoon now played in the morning, which probably didn't have the better weather conditions than the afternoon today. But for anyone that was on the course, whether it was yesterday afternoon, this morning, at any time, they all admit that's just the way golf is.
It's an outdoor game. There's nothing you can do about that. I've been on the good side a lot in my life, and if you've played long enough, you're going to get, you know, the bad part of the draw. But we all know that, and everybody out here has been on the good and the bad, and you got to hunker down and be tough, and it all ends up being fair.
When you've been out for 40-plus years, you know, I've gotten the other end of the deal for sure. So just had to play better than I did, and wasn't able to do it. But yeah, I mean, I'd certainly would have rather have played yesterday morning.
It didn't bother me at all, and I'm pretty sure it didn't bother the other pros. So it's going to be exciting finish Sunday, and I hope I come up on the top. But if he doesn't, you know what? I'm not afraid to finish second.
I've had enough bad breaks over the years, so we'll take this one. But yeah, absolutely. You know, the guys on my side of the draw have had an absolute raver, you know, with the weather. So, you know, it's unfortunate for the guys on the opposite side, but you know, sometimes that's the way golf goes.
You know, Paul Broadhurst called it an absolute raver, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the afternoon groups had it easy. We watched as the cut line kept going down and down. At one point when it was 7 over, it looked like only 15 golfers from the morning would make the cut, but it is now at 9 over par. So players like Jay Haas, who was at 8 over, he gets to play the weekend. Guys like Jeff Sluman, Joey Sindelar did not, but now guys like Colin Montgomery, he's also 9 over par. They will be a part of this weekend when it looked like for a long stretch this morning and this afternoon, they were not going to be members of the weekend.
You know, you think about what we looked at yesterday, a guy like Dudley Hart shot 7 over. You're thinking, wow, he's done, no chance. If he had played it and Dudley Hart was 7 over today, he's not making the cut. If he had played something near par today, he'd be playing 2 more rounds. Amazing how that happened. Prescott, thanks for joining us. Now, there was a record set today. Rochester, as you know, loves its golf, and the town proved it today. The biggest Friday attendance ever for a Senior PGA Championship, and this event dates back to the 1930s. The PGA of America does not keep official numbers in terms of attendance, but they did say that based on their head count, based on all the people who scanned their tickets coming in, this was the best Friday for this event ever. One of the best things the PGA of America does this week is grant free admission to every veteran. The first 200 vets even got a Senior PGA Championship camouflage hat. Not only is it a great gesture, but it's the perfect time of year to do it.
It's always been important for us at the PGA of America, you know, to honor the men and women who served in the armed forces, and certainly with this being over Memorial Day weekend, even more of a tie.
Get to see some of the golfers that I've watched since I was a little kid. My grandfather was a member here at Oak Hill since I can remember, and when he passed, it kind of didn't get to come out as much. So it's good to be back seeing things I remember from my childhood.
Remember, every day of the weekend here out at Oak Hill, there are celebrity chefs. This is the KitchenAid Senior PGA Championship, and if you're a fan of cooking and using all those fun toys in the kitchen, you can see the experts do it in front of you. 1 o'clock tomorrow, Iron Chef Alex Guarnaschelli is here. We'll be showing off the reason she's, of course, a chop judge as well. Chris Roth from Oak Hill will follow up at 2:30. And you know what? I've eaten at Oak Hill once or twice. They have some pretty good food here, too. Both should be very interesting. Now, bad weather at a golf championship can certainly be an annoyance, but can also be dangerous. The PGA of America has its own team of meteorologists, and it's their job to make sure to get the word out to fans and players if they have to escape the course.
We do have LED leaderboards throughout the golf course. We will put weather warning signs on those, so when you first start seeing those, that indicates to them that, hey, you know, inclement weather is moving into the area. So that may be a good time for them to start maybe thinking about heading towards the buses. And then obviously when we do stop play out there, the officials will blow horns. So if you hear the horns blow, that means we're stopping because of a dangerous situation and we're clearing the golf course.
And of course, that's an important piece of information considering tomorrow if you're coming out to the course because the weather will not be good. Dan Fates joins me now with a fun story about a guy who, you know, when you're here all week, you just kind of run into stuff.
Yeah.
And this was a fun little thing that you just kind of ran into.
Yeah, if you've been around the course this week, or even around Oak Hill, you probably have heard this name before and this golf family. We've talked a lot about local golfers that are competing here at Oak Hill, but how about a local caddy coming back and taking a trip down memory lane? J.P. Kircher has walked Oak Hill Country Club.
Oof. I couldn't even ballpark estimate it. I mean, north of 500, I'm sure.
That's a lot for the Pittsford native and 2005 McQuaid grad who caddied here for 7 years growing up.
It was a good summer gig for sure.
Kircher now lives in a small town in Georgia and is the head golf coach at Piedmont College, but now he's back where it all started, on the bag at Oak Hill, caddying for his friend and PGA Club pro, James Mason.
Coming back for this is awesome, getting inside the ropes and just feeling the buzz. It's pretty exciting. You feel, you definitely feel special. I mean, I'm walking around, I got this all-access badge. I'm like, yeah, I can go in here, buddy. Let me buy, park a little closer.
A closer parking spot isn't the only perk for Kircher.
The way they're treating us caddies this week too. I mean, we've got a lounge. They got food in there. They got free keg beer. I haven't had any of that yet, but they're treating us really well. It's compared to when I was here. We were in a little shack, no air conditioning or anything. Not that I complain that much.
Yeah, Kircher's a great guy. He wouldn't joke about complaining, but you know, he was also very colorful. Told me a couple stories that we couldn't say on camera.
Yes.
So it was a lot of fun. Thanks for sharing that story.
Unfortunately, James Mason missed the cut by one shot, as it turned out. We were talking with J.P. Kircher a little while ago, and he said, James is driving home, but I keeping him updated on how the cut line is going, just in case he has to turn around.
Yeah.
Dan, thanks for that. Now, James Mason, like we said, is a club pro, had to qualify for this event. He's not the only one. Jeff Schmid has got a pretty good story. Not only did he qualify this week for the Senior PGA Championship, he also qualified for last week's PGA Championship down at Bethpage Black in Long Island. He also even played the National Club Pro Championship 3 weeks ago, so this guy's been pretty busy. Heck of a run for a pro golfer you probably never heard of.
Pretty amazing, actually, you know, now that after I'm in the process of doing it, it's even a little bit more unimaginable, actually. So, you know, before I was just trying to prepare for a regular golf tournament, but kind of getting a lot of notoriety, so it must be pretty cool thing. For me, it's just about really trying to see how good I can really be. You know, that's what, just test myself, and I try to do that with my students too, just optimize what you have inside you, and that's what keeps me going, I guess.
One of the best parts about this event for Rochester is that a whole bunch of celebrities come to town and they get to experience things that Western New Yorkers kind of take for granted. Usually at the top of that list, Wegmans. Tournament chair Kevin Horry told a pretty fun story about a big Wegmans moment.
Picked up Darren Clark, and he asked me if there was a place that he could just stop and get a few things for the morning. He was staying in a private residence, and I said, sure, I'll take you to Wegmans. And he said, I'll be 10 minutes. 40 minutes later, with 2 grocery carts, he came out, and he had some very colorful things to say, all very positive in his great Irish brogue. And so that's probably one of my best memories, is Darren Clark's reaction to Wegmans at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Clark had the Irish brogue working last night at the Country Club of Rochester. He was presented with the first ever Walter Hagen Ambassador of the Game Award. Hagen was the first head pro at CCR and ergo its first ambassador. Clark's foundation furthers the development of junior golf in Ireland. Clark did a question and answer segment in front of a huge crowd, took pictures with the top CCR junior players. It was a great night for a great guy. Remember, we are back tomorrow for one final edition of Senior PGA Tonight, round 3. Of course, may be dicey with more weather rolling in. You can get a full recap by clicking on all the same things you clicked on tonight, beginning tomorrow night at 7. And then we will conclude our week at Oak Hill with Senior PGA finale on Sunday. We'll hear from the champ. We'll hear from the Oak Hill Club president on the future of the club, and we'll look ahead to the 2023 PGA Championship and beyond. Remember, that is Sunday night. That's all for tonight on Senior PGA Tonight. Again, remember to join us tomorrow night at 7. For Dan Fates and Prescott Rossi, I'm Thad Brown. Thanks for checking in. We'll see you tomorrow.